Hello everyone. In the previous lecture, we have discussed temperature distribution and heat transfer for an infinitely long fin. Now we are going to the next section. We are going to determine again the temperature distribution and heat transfer for insulated tip fin. So exactly we will understand what is the physics and then we will translate it into mathematics. So we are going to consider that there is this base surface. I will designate the base surface for you. So there is this base surface which is at a temperature T0 and it is attached with a fin of length L. So because of fin attachment, Q0 will be the amount of heat getting conducted from the base surface inside the fin. Also, we assume that fin is surrounded by the fluid having heat transfer coefficient H and temperature T infinity. Now, when this fin will behave like an insulated tip, it means that almost no heat will be conducted up to this end, and that's why there will be no heat transfer from this end. Then it will be known as insulated tip fin. So, at this point, we can say that Q conduction is equal to 0. So now we have established our physics. Now we will translate it into mathematics. So basically we can write for insulated tip fin as Q conduction is equal to 0. It means that minus KAC dt by dx at x is equal to L, because we are talking about tip of the fin, the final end of the fin. So temperature gradient at x is equal to L. Everything needs to be 0. Now we know that the conductivity of any material cannot be exactly equal to 0. Also cross section area cannot be 0, which means this is the only quantity which can become 0 in case of insulated tip. This we have also understood in the lecture of initial and boundary conditions. So because these two cannot be affected at all, only this is equal to 0. So that's why we can write, because this cannot be 0, so we can write that dt by dx at x is equal to L will be equal to 0. But remember, this dt or this particularly this temperature T is nothing but Tx. Temperature at any particular location x. In this case, the location is the tip of the fin, that is final length of the fin. Okay. We also know something, that theta x is equal to Tx minus T infinity. Okay. Let us say I differentiate this. So what do I get? I get d theta x by dx on the left hand side. And what about right hand side? Tx, yes, it can be differentiated. So that's why it will be dtx by dx minus T infinity is a constant. It is the fluid temperature beyond the control of the fin. So that's why its differentiation will be 0. It means that the temperature gradient dTx by dx is equal to d theta x by dx. We can substitute this value over here. So ultimately it translates to that for insulated tip fin, d theta x by dx at x equal to L is exactly equal to 0. So that's the first thing that we derive from here, and we will utilize this thing for our benefit. Now we have during the governing equation, during the derivation of governing equation, we have derived these two major equations. We know that theta x is equal to c1 e raised to minus mx plus c2 e raised to mx. That's the major one equation, as we know. And the second major equation is theta 0 is equal to c1 plus c2. That's the major 2 equation. So now I'm going to write these things, these two equations in front of you so that you continuously remember them and we can use it in our derivation. So we will use this first equation because it is d by dx of theta x. So what do we get over here? We get d by dx of theta x is nothing but c1 e raised to minus x. So c1 e raised to minus x plus c2 e raised to mx, and everything applied at x is equal to L and the right hand side is 0. So now we will differentiate this equation first, then we will substitute the value of L. So what we get, C1 is constant, C2 is constant. So as it is, the derivation or the differentiation of e raised to minus mx is minus m into e raised to minus mx. So I will write it like this, minus m c1 e raised to minus mx plus the differentiation of e raised to mx is m e raised to mx. So that will be m c2 e raised to mx. But remember, everything we have to apply at x equal to L and the right hand side is still 0. Now what we will do, we will divide the entire equation by minus m so that this m is eliminated or it can be taken out and it can be directly divided to 0. So divide by minus m and substitute the value of L instead of x. Wherever you will see x, substitute x is equal to L. So what do you get? You get c1 e raised to minus ml plus, my mistake, this will not be plus because we are dividing the equation by minus m, so this positive will become negative. So that will be minus c2 e raised to ml and right hand side will be equal to 0. Now we have two equations, we have two unknowns c1 and c2. So in this case we have not got any definite relationship between c1 and c2. So we will write them in terms of each other. So here I can write this c1 e raised to minus ml is equal to c2 e raised to ml, and ultimately I can write this c1 is equal to c2 into e raised to ml divided by e raised to minus ml. So this is my one value of c1 that can be useful. Now we will substitute this value of c1 in this second major equation. So what do we get over here? So we get, or I will put the instruction over here, put value of c2, my mistake, put value of c1 in major 2 equation. Okay, so we get theta 0. Instead of c1 I will substitute this value. So I get this c2 e raised to ml, c2 e raised to ml divided by e raised to minus ml plus c2. Okay, now after that I need to take this LCM. I can take this c2 out as a common parameter. So directly I can write c2 inside the bracket e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml divided by e raised to minus ml. So I have skipped one step. I hope you will get it. So this will be theta 0. So theta 0 is equal to c2 into e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml divided by e raised to minus ml. I am interested in the value of c1 and c2. So I will rearrange this equation. So what we get, c2 is equal to theta 0, everything else, only c2 on one side, everything else on the other side. So that will be theta 0 e raised to minus ml divided by remaining things e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. This is the value of c2 that we have obtained. Okay, now we have some values of c1 and we have some values of c2, but then still we will go back to the basic equation. Now we have the value of c1 in terms of c2 and then we also have the value of c2 in terms of theta 0. So we have something for all the terms in this equation. So that's why we will put in equation 2 in such a way that what I can write about this. What I can write is c1 is actually theta 0 minus c2. So we know that c1 is equal to theta 0 minus c2 and it will be equal to theta 0 minus. So what is c2? c2 is this much value. So that will be equal to theta 0 e raised to minus ml divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. Okay, now you must have understood that we are properly organizing the things so that we get similar parameters on one side. So why we are making this arrangement? So that we can get both C1 and C2 in some common terms. So now we can again rearrange this equation. So what do we get over here? From both the terms we can take theta 0 as a common parameter out of the bracket. So I will take it. It will be theta 0 inside the bracket 1 minus e raised to minus ml upon this entire bracket. So I hope you solve it. So I can take LCM of both the terms. So it will directly give me e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml minus, because theta 0 is taken out as a common parameter, so minus e raised to minus ml entire equation divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So the benefit of this is, I will erase this, its job is done. So now the benefit is we get the value of C1 as well in terms of theta 0 and some e raised to ml terms. So entirely C1 and C2 they will be eliminated and expressed only in terms of theta 0. So C1 is equal to theta 0. So 1 e raised to minus e raised to minus ml positive and e raised to minus ml negative, they will be eliminated. So what you get over here, only theta 0 e raised to ml divided by the denominator e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. That is the value of C1. Now if you observe a similarity, so that you can also check your answer or derivation in between the writing. So C1 is equal to theta 0 e raised to positive ml upon e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. C2 is theta 0 e raised to minus ml negative ml upon the same denominator. So they have now the same denominator, which means we have written the values of C1 and C2 in terms of the parameters which are known from the physical conditions. So we have values of C1 and C2. Now we will back substitute these values in the measure 1 equation, and that was our sole objective because this equation gives us the temperature distribution. So put C1 and C2, put C1 and C2 in measure equation 1. So what exactly do we get here? So I will eliminate this part, my mistake. Okay, so put C1 and C2 in measure 1 equation. So the measure 1 equation is about theta x. So that is C1 e raised to minus mx. I will clear it. So that is C1 e raised to minus mx. C1 is this value. So I can write theta 0 e raised to ml divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml multiplied by e raised to minus mx plus C2, it is this value. So C2 is theta 0 e raised to minus ml multiplied by e raised to mx, this value, divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So now we have our modified equation. We can take theta 0 common from both the terms, and also denominator is same. Okay. But more important than that, we have to deal with these terms in the numerator. So let me rectify those terms for you. This e raised to ml into e raised to minus mx, it is actually e raised to ml minus, this will become e raised to ml minus mx as we know from the basics. So I can simply write it as e raised to m as a common parameter in the bracket L minus x. That's for this term. For the second term, what I can do, this is e raised to minus ml and e raised to, actually this will be e raised to minus ml plus mx. So this will be, I can take minus m as a common parameter out of them. So it will become minus m. So this will be only L. But because it is minus, so this has to become minus, so that finally it will be plus. So that's why this will be minus m into the bracket L minus x. So you observe, again we have created a similarity. So we will substitute these values in here. We will take out theta 0 as common from both the terms. Denominator is same. So I will write that now. So it is equal to theta 0 and inside the bracket this is e raised to m. The first term I am going to write e raised to m into L minus x plus, I will just rectify in a sufficient space. So that is theta x is equal to theta 0. Okay, so I have erased that wrong part. Now I will rewrite it. So what do we get over here? So that is theta x is equal to theta 0 and inside the bracket we have modified its form. So that will be e raised to m into L minus x. For this term we have this modification, so plus e raised to minus m into L minus x divided by, the denominator is common for both of them, so that will be e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml, and that's your bracket complete. Okay, now from the basics of mathematics, from the previous years, we know that if we have e raised to x plus e raised to minus x, then it becomes hyperbolic cos of that term x. So just like that, we have some term here, e raised to, this can be considered as e raised to x, this is e raised to minus x. So that's why it becomes hyperbolic cos of this entire term. Same way, here we have some e raised to x and some e raised to minus x. So it becomes hyperbolic cos of this particular term. So ultimately, we can write that, and also I will take this theta 0 in the denominator of this theta x. So ultimately we have this theta x upon theta 0 is equal to hyperbolic cos of, this is entire x and this is minus x, so hyperbolic cos of m into L minus x divided by hyperbolic cos of, this is positive x, this is negative x, so hyperbolic cos of x. And as we know, this is nothing but the temperature distribution for insulated tip fin. This is Tx minus T infinity and this is T0 minus T infinity. I hope this is useful for you. Now, the second part of this derivation is determination of heat transfer. So I have cleared the board and I have written the temperature distribution again for your information. So the first objective of this derivation is complete. We have determined the temperature distribution. Okay, now our objective is to determine the rate of heat transfer. We know that this at the base surface, itself, the Q0 is the amount of heat which gets conducted inside the fin, and this we have also derived in the previous derivation. So we will go by this conduction approach only. I will not go for the convection approach in this case now. So Q0 is the heat conducted inside the fin, and that same heat will be convected and dissipated into the environment from the fin surface. So this Q0 is nothing but, because it is conduction, so minus KAC into dt by dx. But remember, now because we are talking about the base surface, So this entire physics, this dt by dx will be applicable at x is equal to 0. And also we have derived that this is nothing but, this parameter is nothing but, also we can write it as d theta by dx. Again, this d theta by dx applicable at x is equal to 0. So remember, even though it is an insulated tip fin, it doesn't mean that heat will not be conducted and heat will not be convected, heat will not be dissipated. No. Along the entire surface, heat will be dissipated. Only the tip of the fin will behave like insulated tip. So we can apply, we can use this temperature distribution and determine the heat transfer rate from this fin using this basic principle. Okay, so how do we write it? Firstly, what we will do, we will break the terms. This minus KC is not going anywhere. So we have to deal with this only d theta x upon dx. So we will see what exactly is this d theta x by dx when we have this temperature distribution now. So from here we can write d theta x by dx is equal to, we can take theta 0 on other side, it will be actually d by dx of theta 0 cos of m into L minus x divided by cos of ml, hyperbolic cos of ml. Okay, now, and of course when the derivation will be completed, everything will be applied for x equal to 0. So theta 0 is a constant parameter, it only includes c1 and c2, that's why it will be taken out of the bracket. Hyperbolic cos of ml, m is root of hp by kac, all the constants. L is length of the fin, again constant. So hyperbolic cos of ml, this is also constant, so it will be again out of the bracket. So whatever is the differentiation, it will happen only for this quantity. So we can write that it is equal to theta 0, or ultimately it is equal to theta 0 divided by hyperbolic cos of ml multiplied by, the differentiation of hyperbolic cos is hyperbolic sine, positive, remember it is not negative, hyperbolic sine of x. So in this case x is this bracket, so this will be m into L minus x, hyperbolic sine. But still, remember, when we differentiate, let us say I am differentiating d by dx of cos x or hyperbolic cos x, so it will be hyperbolic sin x multiplied by differentiation of x also. So but this is equal to 1, that's why we don't generally write it, but in this case we will have to write it, because in this case it will be the differentiation of this entire bracket m into L minus x. Now in this case what we observe, m is again constant, here is constant, so differentiation will take place only for this minus x. So the differentiation of minus x is minus 1, differentiation of here will be 0, and this minus 1 will be multiplied with m, so it will become minus m. So that's why I will write, first one is the differentiation of hyperbolic cos and differentiation of this bracket as minus m. So now that entire differentiation is complete, but still what we need to do, we need to apply everything at x is equal to 0 wherever we see x. Okay, so now we have derived this d theta by dx, and I will finalize it, so that will be minus m. If x is equal to 0, then this will be only hyperbolic sine of ml because x is 0, and this will be hyperbolic cos of ml. So this will be minus theta 0, m on this close to theta 0. I will not divide it by like this. I will write hyperbolic sine of ml because x is 0 in this case. Now I have substituted the value, divided by hyperbolic cos of ml. So you will observe that this is actually hyperbolic tan of ml. So ultimately what we get over here is minus theta 0 m hyperbolic tan of ml. This is nothing but your d theta by dx at x is equal to 0. So what I'll do now, I will substitute this entire value over here so that I can get the total heat transfer rate. So I can write Q0 or heat transfer from insulated tiffin, it will be equal to minus KAC minus KAC, that's it, and then this temperature gradient d theta by dx, it is minus theta 0 m tan of ml multiplied by minus theta 0 m into tan of ml. This negative sign will be absorbed. Okay, they will absorb each other. Now we will deal with this m. So this will be KAC multiplied by theta 0. M is nothing but root of HP by KAC multiplied by tan of, my mistake, yes, tan of ml. So now this KAC, we have already dealt with this. This can be expressed as square root of or multiplication of two square roots of KAC. So one KAC from numerator and one KAC from denominator will be absorbed. So ultimately what we get over here is root of HP KAC multiplied by theta 0 multiplied by tan of ml. So that is your Q0.